Spencer. Let's go and have some adventures. Let's go and have some adventures with Thomas. Let's go and have some adventures. Sodor's a fun place to be. Sodor's greatest adventures. Sodor's greatest adventures.
One day, on the Little Western branch line, Dr. Great Western engine was a bit worried today. I have to make sure everything is okay. I have to do all these jobs today for the Fat Controller. I already checked with Donald and Douglas. It's a good thing they're not working on Epis branch line today. I have to make sure Oliver though. At Titmahawk Yards, Oliver was talking to Toad, his brake van. You know, Mr. Oliver, it looks like a peaceful day today to pull a goods train. I know, Toad, but shame we might have not much work to do. Just then, Duck raced in. Oliver, I need you to make sure everything is okay on the branch line today. What are you on about, Duck? Said Oliver. The thing is, said Duck, that the Fat Controller has given me a lot of important jobs today, so I might be mostly away from the branch line today. I need you to look after it, and you still got Donald and Duck with you. Now, do you know how to run the branch line? Yes, Duck. Do you know how to keep in charge? Yes, Duck. Do you know how to, make all the Donald and Duck is about? Well, okay, I wouldn't. That's a bit too harsh, Duck. I'm sorry, said Duck. This was something like when I have so many jobs, I just get a bit worried, especially if it's important jobs. Then Duck looked at the slip coaches. Oh, bother, said Duck. I forgot about my slip coaches. There's a parcel train with them that needs to be taken today. I suppose I might find Donald and Duck can do them. Shame that James can't take them with him, with his slip coaches. Then Toad had an idea. I know, Mr. Duck. How about you ask Mr. Oliver to do it? I assure you it'd be like a nice change. Me? Said Oliver. Well, I wouldn't think that would be such a good idea. I had no experience with slip coaches. I know you don't, said Duck. But what you should always do, said Duck, that is when you come to a station, you can either uncouple their couplings. There's a guard in every one of those coach, and they will uncouple themselves, and they will roll into the station where passengers can get off. Very well then, said Oliver. Yeah, excuse me, said Duck. I have to do my important jobs. I'll see you all later tonight. And Duck raced off. Well, Toad, I suppose I won't need you today. It looks like Don and Duck can use you. Yes, Mr. Oliver. Are you sure you can do this? Well, Toad, Duck is busy today, and Don and Duck have work on their buffers. I'm sure I'm able to pull these coaches anyways. With that, Oliver puffed away. See you later, Toad. Goodbye, Mr. Oliver, said Toad. So far, Oliver was doing good today. He was puffing on the track smoothly. Said Oliver. But maybe what Duck say is right. Maybe I can do this. Come on, Oliver. You did escape with Douglas after all, and with Toad being safe from scrap. I'm sure nothing bad can happen here. At Crone's gate, he was puffing into there. Right, said Oliver. Here we go. He uncoupled the first slip coach. However, he braked, but the slip coach accidentally made a small bang into him. Whoops, said Oliver. Sorry. Oliver back into the station. That's strange. I thought they were meant to be uncoupled and they were stopped by themselves, said Oliver. But the slip coaches tried to explain, but Oliver wasn't listening. In the yard, Ivor was just shunting some trucks and coaches around. Jane wasn't there. He was out pulling his slip coaches. Ivor saw Oliver. "Hello, Oliver," said Ivor. "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm taking Duck's slip coaches today. He has a very important lot of jobs to do, and I'm in charge of his branch line for today with Donald and Douglas." "Well, good for you," said Ivor. Well, do you need any tips? Like, James has told me some few slip coaches skills he has. "No, thank you," said Oliver. "I can do it. Duck has already taught me how to do this." "Very well then," said Ivor. With that, Oliver puffed away to head on the tracks back to the seaside. Oliver was soon back on the branch line. He was coasting down the line beautifully. "So far, so good," said Oliver. "But I can get to the hang of these coaches." But when he was arriving at Bluff's Cove, more problems started happening. The problem was Oliver would puff. However, he thought maybe if he released the first two slip coaches, he thought it could work. Let's give it a try," he said. He uncovered the first two slip coaches and stopped. But the last slip coach only banged into him. "Ouch!" said the first slip coach and Oliver together. "Oops," said Oliver. "I don't think that worked well." Just then, Donald was passing by with a goods train. He saw what happened. "Hello there, Oliver," he said. "What are you doing, laddie?" Oliver explained about what was happening today. "Are you sure now, laddie? Are you sure you managed for these coaches?" "Just Duck has taught me some skills he has, including James. Maybe me and Dougie he can tell you. Dougie, he does knows what I've heard." "No, thank you," said Oliver. "I can manage." "Are you sure now, laddie? It kind of looks like you do need help." "No," said Oliver. "I don't need help, and that's that." Oliver steamed away. "Huh," said Donald. "What's gone to his thunder today?" With that, Donald puffed away with his goods train. Soon Oliver was down nearby the seaside. He was loving the coast run. "So feel goodbye down the seaside," he said. "Nothing can go wrong this time." Oliver soon approached the next station, where he and Duck were talking about Bulgy for the first time. Douglas was there. He was waiting for his signal to turn green to pass on with his goods train. He saw Oliver. Looks like he might be some slip coaches. I'm sorry to say, Oliver did the worst thing of all on this day. Said Oliver. "Maybe if I release all the slip coaches, they will all go right." Oliver released the coaches. He was puffing slower, but the slip coaches went too fast. "Slow down," said Douglas. "There'll be a crash." "Crash," said Oliver. By the time Oliver slowed down, the slip coaches bumped into him. The passengers flew out of their seats, including the luggage, bags, and everything. "Ouch," said the coaches and passengers all long ago, including Oliver. "This is a terrible railway. What kind of engine is this? What kind of coaches are these?" The passengers were complaining. By the time Oliver was back down onto the platform, the passengers were cross. They complained to the station master and told him they want their money back. And as well, they want to speak to the fat controller about this, how bad this railway was. Oliver felt silly. He knew Ivor and Donald were trying to tell him some lessons. But he knew he made made all the mistakes. "Is everything okay, laddie?" said Douglas. Maybe you need a few tips. I do know a few." "No, thank you, Douglas," said Oliver. "Maybe Doug chose the wrong engine to look after his grandson today. I'm a silly engine." By the time the garbers whistled, Oliver sadly puffed out of the station. He felt very silly. "Oliver," said Douglas. He felt worried for his friend. After marrying, Jane was there with his slip coaches. He was waiting for Oliver to puff in with his. He heard about the switch with him and Duck, but Oliver was running small bit late with the instance. James was puzzled by this. "Hello, Oliver," said James. Why are you small bit late?" Oliver felt worried. "Oh, James," said Oliver, "it's about me and the slip coaches." Oliver told James what happened, first with Ivor, then with Donald, and now Douglas. James was surprised. You know, Oliver, slip coaches are not easy to get used to. I remember when I first tried them." "What do you mean?" said Oliver. "Well, when Doug told me and the rest of the steam team before me and Rebecca came to Sodor, as well as Spencer staying on Sodor, when me, Evan, and Henry used to live at Tentman Sheds, Doug stayed there one night while Emily was sleeping somewhere else. And," said James, "he told us a story about what happened on the Great Western Railway, where he used to pull slip coaches. However, I think I had a greedy idea to get the slip coaches, and I lied to the fat controller that I was the one who told the idea. But when I made my first accident with them, Doug told the real story what happened. And I felt very silly after that. However, but when I proved Doug and everyone else that I can get used slip coaches, when the fat controller bought used slip coaches, I was used to these. So Oliver, so you were kind of like what happened to me, wasn't it?" "Yeah," said James. "And I'm sure when Doug used to put them on his old railway, he probably wasn't getting used to them either. So you see, Oliver, not all of us are used to slip coaches." "Well," said Oliver, "I didn't ask for any of Ivor, Donald, Doug's tips, because I heard you and Doug told them some of the tips. Can you please tell me?" Jane was happy. "Of course I will." Jane explained everything what Oliver needs to do with the coaches. "When you release your first coach, don't stop and keep on puffing," said James. "And you can come back to that coach. That's the same thing you do with the second and last coach. Just uncouple them and they'll be fine. There's a guard in every one of them that will break." Oliver felt happy again. "Thanks, James. It seems you were taught well." "Well, I did ask Doug for these few tips when I got my slip coaches, and that's what he taught me." Oliver was delighted. However, it was time for James to leave. Good luck for your journey back," said James, and James puffed away with his slip coaches. "Thanks," said Oliver. A few minutes later, it was time for Oliver to leave. "Right," said Oliver. "Let's try it again," he said. At the next station, Donald and Doug were talking about what happened while Oliver puffed in. He remembered what James told him to and released the first coach. "Hey, twins, bye, twins," he said, as the first slip coach stopped on the platform. Donald and Douglas were surprised. "So he's gotten used to them now?" Ivor was pulling a passenger train passing Bus Cove. When Oliver passed it by, unleashed the second slip coach. "Hey, Ivor, bye, Ivor, Ivor." Ivor was surprised. Then Oliver puffed into Tintman Holt. Jane was there with his slip coaches, waiting to pick up the last passengers. Oliver released the last slip coach as he puffed through the station. Everybody cheered. James smiled. Well done, Oliver. I suppose I taught you well, said James. Later that evening at Tipman Holt Yards, the Chrome Skate Engine and the Scottish Twins, as well as Oliver and Toad were there. I was speaking about today's events, and the Fat Controller arrived to praise Oliver. At first, the Fat Controller, you didn't do really well with the coaches, but after what James taught you, you've been really useful for the whole day, Oliver. I looked after the branch line very nicely. In the future, would you like to take the coaches sometimes when Doc is not busy? Oh yes, sir, said Oliver. I would love to, but I'm glad to go back pulling mostly goods train at the most time we're told. Very well then, said the Fat Controller, and he walked away. Looks like I taught you well, said James. Well, said Oliver, I couldn't have a better teacher. I'm sorry what happened today, Ivor and the twins. It's fine, laddie, said Donald. Aye, said Douglas. We all learn our lessons, said Ivor. Well, that's right, Mr. Oliver. Listen to your friends, said Toad. Oliver smiled. Just then, Doug raced in. He was very tired. So, has everything went okay? Okay, how were the slip coaches? Were they fine, Oliver? Oliver smiled. Well, said Oliver, at first, I wasn't really got used to them, but after what James taught me, I was able to learn how to pour them. And the fact of the choice that I can take them anytime when you're busy. That's good, said Duck. So, are you sure you're able to pour the slip coaches now? Well, said Oliver, here's a joke. Look, what? I don't know why you should call them slip coaches, but if they crash into you, it kind of sounds like they are slippy coaches, said Oliver. Everyone laughed. Even Duck had to laugh at it after a hard day's work. Ho ho ho! It seems you have taken care of the branch line after all, said Duck. I knew I could trust you, Oliver. As everyone blew their whistles for Oliver the Great Western Engine. Oliver has really gotten to learn a lesson about slip coaches, and he knows it's okay to ask for advice. I think he has learned his lesson about asking for help or advice. Don't you?
Let's go on and have some adventures with Tom and Noel. It is when Sodor's greatest adventures.